So you protected the Wilson Mills property and this property. How did your family come to own both of them?
Well, my grandparents owned the Wilson's Mills property since 1909. And of course I live there now. The reason I want to protect that property is my grandmother really liked the woods. And I couldn't see a developer because my grandmother would sit in her kitchen window and look out the kitchen window and just look at that woods, and she always said, "That's my woods." And you know, in the feeling, you would hate to have it disturbed. And then there's a little natural spring back there, which when we were kids, we would go through the woods to chase the cows so that they'd come home to the barns, because we had, my grandmother had a dairy farm. And she'd want to get rid of us, and she'd say, "Oh, go see how far the cows are already." So we'd go through the path and follow the cows up to the barn. And there's just too many memories for the property to be developed. We had the sugar bush. Grandma had a vineyard. She had a hay field. She had a wheat field. She had the wheat that was grown on the farm. They would take down to Fowler's Mills and have it ground so that we had the flour. And she had an apple orchard. She had a sour cherry orchard, an Italian plum orchard. So they could live off the land. And up here, this was special also because of the east branch of the Chagrin River, and the wild turkeys and the deer and so on. And I couldn't see the property being developed because of the golf course. As long as it's the golf course, it's fine. But after a while, the golf course doesn't become protected enough, and they're going to probably think, we can allot it and make a nice residential area, and no way would I want that. And then that would infringe on this property.
You didn't want the golf course to expand into here?
No.
So that's part of why you did it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, and it's a nice piece of property and somebody would enjoy it.
What are some of your favorite memories of this property, the Fowler's Mill
Well,
property?
naturally, walking along the waterway, that was a lot of fun. And going down by Moccasin Falls, you know, that was sort of an adventure because of the way the falls goes, and try to climb over the rocks.
Yeah, yeah. What have you liked about working with us?
Well, it was a big decision. You know, you kind of think to yourself, well, once it's done, it's done. And then as the years rolled along, then you stop and think to yourself, you got to get the job done. Otherwise, who knows what could happen.
So you liked that we were patient?
Really patient, right?
One thing I remember that you telling me is about you and your husband Bill driving, when we had an office in Chardon. You would drive around the square and you and Bill would say, "We should go in there."
Yeah.
But you didn't.
But we didn't.
Yeah, but you finally did.
But we were thinking about it.
Yeah.
Sometimes, you know, it takes a long time thinking.
Yeah. And Bill wanted this too,
Yes,
right?
he wanted it too.
Yeah.
And that's why. And I think my mom and dad, and I know my grandmother especially, would want that land on Wilson's Mills protected.
Yeah, that's great. Thanks.
You're welcome.
Yeah.